If men were angels, then we did not need governments. Said by James Madison, one of the founding fathers of US. And I am not an American, but freedom, fuck yes. So I recently watched a movie called Dunki. It was directed by Raj Kumar Hirani. He's the director who directed movies like Munna Bhai, Three Idiots, and PK. I'll be looking down time and again because I have some of my notes over here on the table. He delivered these movies that I watched as a kid, and I really enjoyed them back when I was much younger. And I enjoyed the movie, but I did not know what it's like to be like one of the characters of the movie or be around that story. For whatever reason, after watching this movie, it sort of left an unsettling feeling at the end. Maybe it was because of the movie's ending, and I don't want this video to be around the theatrical aspect of the movie or its story. The movie has, I think, rating of 6.4 or something on IMDb. Let me check. 6.7. So I'll try to keep the damage to minimum, but there will be spoilers in one way or another. The movie overview is that when his friends in Punjab struggle to clear the immigration process, an ex-soldier guides them on a risky journey to enter the UK without permission. So we have an ex-soldier who will be our protagonist. This central character, this hero, helps his friends in Punjab to clear the immigration process. They failed to clear the immigration process, so he helps them to immigrate to UK without permission. And the term for entering a country without having a visa is called Dunki, or doing a donkey, or taking a donkey. The movie does not give us a concrete time period of when the story takes place, but it shows the present day. So this movie is released in 2023 December, and they tell the story in a 25-year long duration. So we can safely assume that this movie took place in the late 90s. So let's begin with the very first question: why people want to go abroad? The answer is pretty simple: for a better life. There's something that just bugs me whenever I talk about these socio-economic, political, financial, psychological, philosophical topics, is because I feel out of my depth or out of my comfort zone. I studied engineering in computer science, so that is where I have, say, a good grasp of the knowledge. And everything else is I'm just developing or learning as I go through books and other things. So I do have a little bit of an imposter syndrome whenever I talk about these topics. So feel free to take my words with a huge grain of salt if you are an expert in those fields. This movie takes place in India, and they want to go UK, and you can understand the differences in the socio-economic landscape of these two different countries, because UK is, well, big country, and it has seen more success than India. But India is, again, in the present day, is not behind. It's rapidly catching up. It has done just so many innovations, and it's just taking leaps and bounds in progress, to the point where I think Nepalese will have to take this benefit one way or another. Nepal shares an open border policy with India, so Nepalese can, instead of migrating to much bigger countries out there, it's much more easier for Nepalese to migrate to India and be a part of that development, not in a negative way, but in a positive contributing way. Nepal is also trying. There has been progress, but let's not talk about the problems that Nepal has. Moving on. While I was researching, I found an interesting thing. Initially, there were four characters, four friends who want to go to UK. They meet the central character, the hero, who is an ex-soldier, and they try to immigrate to UK legally at first, and they are scammed. Their savings are taken away by scammers, so they forget the wedding visa, and then they try the IELTS to get an education visa. Only one of them gets the education visa, three of them get rejected, and in that rejection, one of them takes away his own life because of unfortunate circumstances, and that just does not sit well with the soldier. He doesn't want to see his other friends struggle. He helps them to immigrate UK legally. In the movie, it is shown that his friends have obvious financial problems in their life. But in case of this hero who comes into their village, his financial background, his family, none of those things are made obvious. He may have had some savings, some pension, and I think he did use his savings to pay to different agents who would help them cross different borders. To which my first thing was, why don't you take the visas from as many nearby countries who would give you legally, go to those many places legally, and then perhaps start the Dunki route somewhere in middle. I don't know if that's easier logistically or not. This is a movie and you need to show the life-threatening scenarios, and they are obviously real. At movies ending highlights all these different difficult scenarios that one has to face while trying to cross a border illegally. And even I have heard many unfortunate stories of people being captured while trying to enter some borders of some countries, and it's just unfortunate to see this kind of things happen. But they manage to reach to UK. But reaching UK is just 50% of the task. Now they need to survive over there. The goal was to reach UK and have and build a better life. But how would you build a better life in a country where you do not have any legal status? So they are constantly in the run away from police. They sleep in graveyards, which I can't imagine how tragic that thing is in itself. And they do all this. And there comes a point where the soldier wants to return. And over here, we slowly see a shift in the central character's thought process. He does not like to live a humiliated life where he has to be constantly on the run. But since this is a Bollywood movie, we have to have songs and things like that. And so he is falling in love, and she too is falling in love with him. Once they reach to UK, they want to build their life together. The guy wants to return back, but the girl has financial responsibilities for her family and she does not want to return. So she asks the guy not to talk about returning back, and the guy tries to find the legal ways to obtain a citizenship in UK. So the first one is they find a lawyer, and the lawyer tells them we have three options. The first one is invest £1 million in investment, which is a big no-no because they did not have the money. So that option is gone. The second option is to take political asylum. They can tell that their life is in danger from their country or people, and they cannot return back to their country, which is why they need political asylum. But basically, they have to create a lie. And over here, again, our hero is an ex-soldier, and I think being a soldier comes with this natural tendency of upholding your own country to at a higher position, and it's a natural thing. And he simply denies to speak a lie because it doesn't sit well with him, it doesn't sit well with his moral principles, it doesn't sit well with his integrity of just being a person. He doesn't want to tell a lie, no matter how many people hear it. And the third option is marrying someone in UK. And the lawyer finds a person who is ready to do a pretend marriage. The wedding does not go as planned. They are caught by police and now they are in prison. And since they do not have any legal status, they are about to be deported and they are presented before the court. Now, this court scene is the crux of the matter that I want to discuss. So there's this court scene where there is a judge who wants to give the political asylum to these people only if they state the obvious. They need to state that verbally that their life is in danger and they are seeking asylum. The lawyer keeps repeating that, say the three magical words, I need asylum. And the first one to go on the podium or in front of the judge is the soldier. And the judge asks him, why are you here illegally? And there's a little bit of a back and forth between these two people, and it's a very excellent dialogue, I think, within the entire movie. The soldier says He came there illegally because he was not able to secure a visa. And he also goes on to say that in your country, you drive a German car, you put oil from Gulf, you wear clothes that are made in India, you eat food that you import from Italy and other places. Like, why do you support global product, but why don't you support global citizens? The judge gives his reply saying that you need to follow a valid visa procedure. We do that to filter out criminals and bad actors. And even before that, the thing about using global products is that all global products, to my knowledge, is checked. They go under quality control, they are tested, then they are duly exported with while following all the import-export trade policies. We do live in a highly globalized world where we can easily access things that are made in different countries, but they still follow a procedure. So the judge also tells that the similar procedure of following a visa protocol to filter out criminals, terrorists, and bad actors is done. To which the soldier replies that people coming illegally for a better life do not commit crime. They are simply looking for a better life. In fact, they fear the authorities and they do not want to commit crime, because if they commit crime, they will be deported back to their country. So they are just looking for a better life. And to which the judge replies, think of people already living here. You're thinking from incoming perspective, but what about people who already live here? That kind of rampant activity will take away the jobs from the local people who live here. And then the rebuttal comes. Again, I'm not a socioeconomic expert over here of how these things play out. The judge says that there are over 500,000 illegal immigrants in the UK at the time, not fact-checked. And to which the soldier replies, think about it. If 500 people come here, the job increases. All those 500,000 people will need clothes. They will need to have their hair cuts. They need some place to live, and hopefully they will be paying the rent. So they will increase the jobs, and also they will also increase the market because they still have some sort of a demands. To which he says, your borders have always been open to the rich. I think they should just modify their script to say ultra rich, because if you have 1 million pounds, I don't think you are just rich, you are ultra rich. At this point, the judge points out the law, saying that law only allows him to provide asylum to people who would be affected from wars and persecution back in their own country. He cannot protect people from poverty, which is understandable to a certain extent. He is just a judge, and he's only as powerful as the law is, and the law is not in the favor of poor. And over here, it goes into the emotional aspect of the movie, where the soldier asks, is there a difference in dying from a bullet of a gun versus hunger? Aren't both of these things lethal? And he continues to go on and give an example of animals or animal migration. He says that birds in Russia, whenever the temperature goes cold, they migrate from north to south to much favorable climates, right? So why can't humans understand that people also have obligations to move? Why would someone leave their home, their families, their friends, their village, or their city behind to move to a different place? And why we humans are not able to understand this necessity of other humans? And even while doing so, they are doing this at a great risk that may cost them their life. Why can't you simply understand this fact that we have our obligations to do this? And this is an emotional call, and the judge does resonate with him. The judge does understand his situation, and he is, I would say, kind enough to tell him that just tell me the words, just say that your life is in danger and I will grant you the asylum. But over here, you may have already seen or felt the strong morality aspect or strong principles of this soldier who wants to preserve his integrity. And even at this situation, he does not tell a lie. His life is not in danger from his country, and he does not want to put the name of his country down. He loves his country, and he requests his love interest at the time to do the same. If you compare the soldier versus his friends, it is made obvious that his friends have financial obligations, but in Hero's case, it is not shown at all. And I think that creates a difference in what the soldier can decide versus what his friends can decide. His soldier can decide to become a protector, become a helper, become stand with his friends, with his people when needed, and takes full responsibility of taking them through this Dunki route from India to UK. And it was not easy, so he protects them during this transition through different countries. But his friends, on the other hand, who had the financial obligations, they were not the stronger ones. They had fears. And so when they get to the UK, that was their big destination. They do not want to return because if they return back home, they still have financial obligations. For them, telling a lie and not maintaining their moral integrity or ignoring it seems like the most viable path for a better life. But for the soldier, maybe because of this whole character upholding his moral integrity, his principles to a higher degree, and not calling out or not telling bad about his own country is something that he has to preserve. So he does not tell a lie, and it costs him his personal life, or his he was really hoping that his partner would not lie and would instead return back with him to the country when his turn is over, and it's the girl's turn to go and speak in front of the judge. But she says that she has her responsibilities and she wouldn't be able to. I mean, this is a very emotional situation, and she tells him that she won't be able to do that. She has to stay there to build a home because she does not have a home back home, which is true. Her house is in disarray. She's the sole breadwinner of her family at the time, so she has that responsibility under her. So she goes to the podium or in front of the judge and she seeks asylum. She gets it. They get separated. It's very tragic. I wish no one has to go under that kind of separation. And fast forward 25 years to the present day, they want to be back in their country. But the catch is, since they have received political asylum, they cannot get back to India no matter what. Another spoiler alert, the girl is about to die 25 years later, but in the present day. And she wants to die in her own home because she came over here to build her home back home, and now she's at the end of her life. She may have had some sort of a terminal disease, which she is aware of. And now she just wants to return back to that home, to that place, because all her life she worked for it and she wants to be there. And guess who they call for the help this time again? The same soldier. And again, this is an entertainment aspect of the movie where the soldier is able to take them back home legally. And once they're back at the home, the girl passes away. Like she reaches her house and she's happy that she's there. Everything is good. She could not have a life with the person she desired. Both of them did not marry anyone for the rest of their lives. I don't know how to process that, but that's very tragic. That's very sad. And the movie ends with these points. Just 140 years ago, no visa was required to enter any country. With visas came discrimination in migration. Today, borders bar only the poor are refused visas on the basis of wealth and education. Each year, more than 1 million people try to cross borders illegally in search of a better life. Many die on the way, their bodies never to be found. Families can't perform the last rites as they never know if their loved ones are alive or dead. Of those who survive, very few are able to come back to the home they once left. It's obvious that the poor people are always the one that have to bear the burden of anything and everything that goes around on the world. Then it's the middle class. Then lastly, it's the rich or the ultra rich. This is how our society has been evolving for the last, I don't know, 6,000 years, since the creation of money or something like that, since Babylonian times. But in the modern day, I would like to say that in case of visas, it's not the complete picture. I am a living and breathing example of a case where even if you have decent education and fulfill the wealth criteria, you can still be rejected. So this has happened to me while trying to immigrate to Canada, and my visa has been rejected 3 times. I have a decent score in English language. In PTE, it's overall 8 band each. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and at the time of applying, I had over 4 years of work experience. So I was rejected on the ground that I do not have strong ties with my country, for which I did mention a small incident, that is, staying abroad is not for everyone. We Nepalese should look at India as it is one of the growing economy that is very near to us and is readily accessible. I was not aware of this when I was just freshly graduated in 2016 in India. I secured a placement during campus interviews in Tata Consultancy Services, and I was offered a 27,000 per month job. And about this refusal that I don't have ties with the country, I think it's a poor choice of understanding of my case on the visa officer's part, because I left that job for a much low paying job over here in Nepal. I just wanted to be in my own country, because after staying over there in 4 years, although I was being supported financially from my family, I did not feel like living or working over there. I was away from my family for a long time, and I kind of just wanted to be back over here. So I did mention about this in my statement of purpose, saying that I do have ties to my country and I would come back after completing my education, but nothing worked. Which is only to raise a point that, again, it's not the responsibility of this movie to show each and every aspect of this big, gigantic topic that is visas and borders and migrations and geopolitical themes that keep changing time and again. I do not wish to put that responsibility on the movie. It's my only goal with through this video to share that there is more to this uh, gigantic mess that is visa and immigration. I think this refusal in visa created a big rift in my thinking and in my idea of anticipating what's about to happen next in your life. So I took a big break in YouTube, and after watching this movie, again, I had a very unsettling feeling about this topic, that this is not the complete picture. And it also shows that life is much more messy. It's there is no order to it, and you somehow try to find the order in the life as you go. And yeah, those are some of my thoughts around this movie, and hopefully I'll continue to drop these thoughts. Well, that's it. This idea has been living rent-free on my head, and I thank you dearly from the bottom of my heart for listening to the end of it. You're awesome.